Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Evening, everybody. Welcome to this Claudia Castle Theater in Chicago Cultural Center, the People's Palace. How's everybody doing tonight? All right, excellent. My name is Jonah Zeiger. I am Deputy Commissioner of the Chicago Film Office, which is in the Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events. And on behalf of Mayor Lori Lightfoot and Commissioner Aaron Parkey, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Chicago Cultural Center and tonight's special presentation in cooperation with the APIDA Arts Festival, Asian, Pacific Island, and Desi South Asian American Arts Festival. We're extremely excited to be partnering with this organization, and we have many partnerships with many cultural organizations, but we're extremely excited about this partnership that is so inclusive of such a broad and diverse demographic across the entire globe. And so many communities are represented in so many different art forms, and it's very exciting to be able to kind of present and share and open up this public building to the broader Chicago community and cultural community that's represented by APIDA. Just wanted to mention a few things before we get started, and I introduce tonight's host, who will then introduce tonight's special guest and screening. Just a little bit about the Chicago Film Office. The Chicago Film Office is the primary office that's empowered by the city government to attract and support the development of filmmaking and television production here in Chicago. So if there's any filmmakers in the room or anyone involved in the film industry here in Chicago, we are your one-stop liaison for permits, logistical support, community relations, and professional development and programming that's related to film for the city of Chicago. So in addition to tonight's events, we have events on several times a month, and I'm especially excited to announce our summer screening series in Millennium Park, Movies in the Park at Pritzker Pavilion, which will begin in July, as well as international screenings that we'll be doing in partnership with the Chicago International Film Festival and many other events. So please visit our website to learn more about what we can offer, and feel free to talk to me or any of my team members if you'd like more information about the Chicago Film Office. In terms of everything else we are doing to support this, in addition to film and television, I wanted to underline that the partnership here with APIDA is multi-arts, and as we know from film, many people say film is the most collaborative and interdisciplinary medium that touches all the arts. And I just wanted to mention that I think that all of the arts are interrelated and support each other. So if you got here earlier, you were able to experience some of the live painting, the performances, dance performances of performance art that's happening in conjunction with the festival. I just really encourage you to take advantage of everything that the festival has to offer and all the cultural offerings that you'll find as part of DCASE's programming here in the Cultural Center. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce our primary partner, the executive director, and as she has told me, her preferred title, executive cart before the horse, Mia Park, who is a multi-hyphenate talent and really an incredible creative force across acting, music, and event production, so many other things, and just a real champion of amplifying the power and importance and diversity of the art forms that are represented by the APIDA community. So without any further ado, I would like to hand it over to Mia Park.
All these fabulous people here. Hey, how's everybody doing? All right, I'm watching Monkey Sugar Go-Go, that show at the puppet, and this is what I do. I said, how's everybody doing? People are texting me like, oh, the live stream's working. I can hear the very, very specific arts festival. And the support that we've been receiving has been just overwhelming. I mean, completely overwhelming. And it just shows that people are feeling this. We're feeling this, right? The momentum for having this Asian Pacific Islander Desi South Asian American Festival, the time is now. And it's funny because I've done a lot of media this week, thankfully, thank you, James Triana. But a lot of people are saying like, that title is really long and like it's there's so many words. That's kind of what I'm feeling. And like, quite honestly, I'm like, yeah, because you all put us in this demographic. You know, on WBEZ this week, I was with someone who was a native Hawaiian and someone from India. And I said, look at us. Do we look like each other? And you're calling us all Asian. Like, I don't understand that. But it's okay because we're here. With all due respect, we're here, but it's also time to hopefully represent ourselves in this new, fresh way. So thank you so much for being interested. Let's give a round of applause for our ASL interpreters who are making a great job. Okay, let me get through my speech. I talk a lot. Anyway, again, thank you all for coming. My name is Mary Park, and let's all just take one breath together. I know I could use a breath, so can we close our eyes, please, and just take a deep breath in. Awesome, thank you. All right. So again, welcome. I'd like to do a land acknowledgement. The APIDA Arts Festival gratefully acknowledges the traditional homelands of the Council of the Three Tribes, the Fires, of Ottawa, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi nations, as well as the Miami, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Sauk, Meskwaki, and Fox tribes. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering those names. So we want to do all kinds of acknowledgement for ourselves here and for all of our ancestors that have come here before us. So there's a lot to talk about. One quick thing I want to mention, we are an artist festival. This festival is free, and thank you so much for coming. If you're interested in supporting the arts in general, the Asian American Pacific Island Desi South Asian American artists here, there's many ways to do that. We've got a little cash bucket up there, and we're having some swag, there's some pins and stickers and things. You're also welcome to donate online. The programming continues this weekend too. We've got all day tomorrow at Goodman Theater, just come on by. And also on Sunday at the MCA. And then on Sunday night, there's a really great after party at Looking Glass Theater. We have DJ, food, performance art, we have Korean drumming. It's going to be great. And there's also a discount code for that. It is APIDA. So you can get those tickets online for that discount. Okay, so Jonah gave a shout out to some of the programming we had out there. We have Juan Kim doing live painting. Katie Chung, who did her roller skate thing out here, and her beautiful humble made of dry cleaning tags from her parents' dry cleaning store. That they're immigrants from South Korea as well. The Nonki is the giant banner flag, and it also had the political messages on there. So this is a form of political art with a message. And Adam Han Fuentes helped create that. Also, the glass art from Tiberius Geeson, 15 years old. Pretty good job for a 15-year-old. And I hope you enjoyed the dance from Shalaka Kulkarni and Rika Lin. Great. And now, without further delay, we've got some amazing programming. Stay tuned, but let's slow clap. Can I get a slow clap? We're going to welcome to the stage, standing up comic, Eunji Kim.
Cool. I like this. This is like a very cool phenomenon. I was thinking backstage about like the umbrella term Asian, right? I recently did a talk at my son's school. I counted it. I recently gave birth, and I would like 5 months ago. And yes, I know. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I look incredible. Thank you. But it was actually technically my first show doing this Asian presentation, and it was for the Lunar New Year. And let me tell you, there's no one more toxic than 6-year-olds. First of all, I was bombing. These children did not respect me, and there's this child that raised his hand as I'm describing the dragon and the festival for the Lunar New Year. And one of the kids raises his hand and it's like, I think my nanny is some kind of Asian. By the way, this girl was Asian. And then another kid raises his hand and is like, my sister has a book about dragons, not these kind. And the last kid raises his hand and says, I'm Japanese. And that was it. But thinking about the designation, the umbrella of Asian American, how wide and vast it is, right? It really calls together a group of people that are so little to do with each other. It's wild that white people have a tough time with this. Have you ever asked a Wisconsinite if they were from Ohio? Like, they get pissed. Like, well, what's the difference? You guys both eat cheese curds, right? It's very funny. And sometimes I will say I've done what's wild is doing comedy right now here. And last night, I literally did comedy at a dispensary in Mundelein. For those of you who don't know what that is, someplace they sell weed legally, and it was in Mundelein. It was just like suburban white people getting so stoned and just looking at me being like, what is happening? They're just like, man, this slutty baby has got a lot to say. I do comedy all over. Sometimes I do comedy in very liberal rooms to cucks, and they'll look at me, and I'll describe myself as a 6 on stage, and they'll look at me and kind of be like, no queen, love yourself. Gen Z talks that way. And I'll do comedy in places like River North, and all these like really hot ladies are looking at me being like, why is this 6 so confident? And then I'll do comedy for, my own, and you guys are looking at me being like, why is this 50-year-old dressed like a slutty baby? Yeah. Sometimes people ask me what kind of Asian I am. It's not white people anymore. They want to keep their jobs. What did you ask me? No, it's generally, the people that ask me are generally older Mexican ladies, and I would say they deserve to know. So sometimes I'll get asked that what kind of Asian I am, and I have to tell them I'm the kind of Asian that has been kicked out of multiple Filipino dance crews. I am not Filipino, and nor can I dance, and that is the primary reason why I would get kicked out of them. I was telling my friend this story, and he was like, why would you join another one? And I told him, it's because I believe in myself. Like delusion is not just for old white men. Sometimes you just be a crazy Asian with no money. It's funny, I'm an immigrant. I think it's part of this like kind of maniacal belief in myself, Any children of immigrants in the room? Any immigrants? Yeah! So the children of immigrants, you guys know this, right? Our relationship to America is distinctly different than our parents, right? Our parents still envision America as this place of infinite possibility and wealth. We know the truth. I actually thought that, let me say, I actually thought that until the first time I ever saw a white girl call her mom a bitch at the mall. And I was like, oh, that's what freedom is. I'm gonna do that today! I would never do that. I'm still so afraid of my mom. And I'm 40. Yeah, I actually gave birth later in life. My second child, I gave birth at 40. Thank you, this is an appropriate response. No, it's weird because times was, Asian people, you know this, like times where you would tell people, like white people your age, and they would be like, oh my God, you look so good. But white women started using lotion in 2016, and now none of us are allowed to age anymore. And I think the problem is because women make things look a little too effortless, right? It's always like, oh, I just woke up with this. And I think we need to start showing our work, okay? You're not gonna get credit unless you show your work, ladies. People are like, oh, I can tell you're wearing makeup. Good. Let me ask you guys, okay? Gentlemen in the audience, let me ask you, who do you want next to you digging in the trenches of life, okay? Do you want a woman that has taken the raw resources of a 4 and clawed her way to a 7? Or do you want some natural looking lady who doesn't even know there's a war going on? That woman is a silly goose. The natural 9, that's a silly goose. Oh, everyone's just so nice to me. The woman that has clawed her way to a 7, that is a woman of consequence. She's the only one that's gonna figure out a way out of this situation. You can ask my husband, okay? My husband goes to sleep with a 4. I'm sorry, he wakes up with a 4. And he steps out with a 7 sometimes. And he goes to sleep alone. I just gave birth, you guys, give my vagina a break. I did have a C-section, but my husband doesn't know that. It's fine. People always get worried about me after that joke. They're like, oh my God, is she unhappy? No, I'm very happily married, don't worry. Let me explain to you why I'm happily married, okay? I am much better looking than my husband. You guys got what I'm saying, right? He's rich. Things are fine. My husband does hate that joke. But I'm allowed to make fun of him, okay? Whatever. For example, my husband is constantly trying to get me to give him a blowjob. Moi? The mother of your children? Excuse me? Also, I'm 40. Society is trying to bring me to my knees. I don't need to suck a dick while I'm down there. It's fine. It's a little, I hate blowjobs, so you guys know I'm liberal. It's anti-feminist. I am liberal, but I would say I'm not crazy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm an immigrant, so I still want to be rich. So I'm not crazy. But I have friends with a lot of very young people that are very progressive. I am 40, but a lot of my friends are like 25 and stuff because things aren't working out for me. So a lot of my friends are very young. They're very progressive, right? And they're constantly railing about the insidious nature of casual racism, immigrant rights, trauma. And it feels like they don't know any immigrant moms. Because no one is inflicting more trauma and engaging in more casual racism than immigrant moms. The call coming from inside the house, okay? My mother only describes my friends by their ethnicity and the physical trait they are most insecure about. What's happened to your Jewish friend with 3 hairs on his head? You mean my husband? Any biracial or biracial kids in the audience? Okay. My son is, biracial. You guys, I married a white guy, whatever. I fucked up. But to be fair, it is the only mistake I've ever made. So No, my son is biracial, and do you guys, any bio people in the audience? Come on, Asian people. There's a concept in biology called hybrid vigor. Okay, and so that's when two separate species come together, and the best characteristics of both those respective species emerge in their offspring. And so when I was pregnant with my son, I kept envisioning him as this hairless Adonis. That would be really good at making money. And he came out, and instead, he's a narcissist with horrible allergies. I just think it's funny, like, now that I'm an immigrant mom, like, what my son must feel is like, all the time, I'm kind of like, you don't understand how good you have it, You got Oreos all the time. My mom mentions $20 she spent on me in 1994. Remember that time I did something for you? I'm never gonna do that. I'm gonna begrudge him a little bit. It's weird. That's the thing, right? Our parents, we're not allowed to complain. If you're the child of an immigrant, there's just absolutely no way you're allowed to complain. Because if you complain, it's immediately locked into some sort of traumatic story about our family struggle here in America. Like if I just complain about anything, and my mom is immediately like, oh my God. It's just like the $20 we managed to save and survived here in our first year in America. We were only able to get that $20 because we bartered our way from a rupee we had pried from your uncle's flesh as he burned alive in a fire in a factory that we once owned until the communists took it. So no, you can't quit clarinet. It's brutal. You guys all know this. My husband is also an immigrant. My husband is a Russian Jew, and he speaks to my son in Russian, and I speak to my son in Korean. So we're preparing him, stay with me, to be bullied at school. So. But I converted. I am Jewish, and we're a Jewish family. And my son had been coming home recently and kind of complaining that he didn't have enough Jewish friends. Isn't that weird? Right? It never changes. You always, whenever you're different, doesn't matter what kind of different you are. He'd been complaining about it. And I remember kind of like, he goes to CPS in the city. And he'd come in and complaining there weren't enough Jewish friends. And I remember looking at my husband kind of being like, when are we going to explain to him why there aren't more Jews? Because they're in private school. And, just a joke. There's a lot of Jewish kids in his class, okay? And I told him this. I was like, there's a lot of Jewish kids. What are you talking about? There's Silas, there's Edie. By the way, he's in first grade. His class list reads like a ship's manifest going into Ellis Island in the 1920s. It's like Silas, Edie, Potato. And I was like, what are you talking about? There's a lot of Jewish kids. And I started naming him Silas, and he stopped me. He was like, wait a second. Silas is Jewish? Silas doesn't look Jewish. And I was like, what do you think a Jew looks like? And my son looked at me and he said, Asian.
Awesome, thank you, Eunji. I'm a big fan of her. It's nice to see plenty of people, especially a Korean woman on stage. That's funny, right? Humor has a lot of depth, and the best humor is grounded in reality, which brings us to our very special guest that we have coming on stage. We met a while ago as acquaintances, and then this next human being went and is like taking over the narrative in so many different ways. So let's put your hands together and welcome Chicago's own Danny Moody.
to all of you for being here supporting APIDA Arts. I want to thank them for putting on this amazing festival, hilarious stand-up comedy. And thank you for joining me tonight. I'm from Chicago, I was born here, biracial, son of immigrants. My mother immigrated from Poland, my father immigrated from India. And during the pandemic, I wanted to, like many of us, it was a time of reflection. I wanted to kind of go back to my own story and learn a little bit more about my family. And I was fortunate to work with amazing director APIDA Mukherjee, could be here today. But her company, Hypocrite Theater in New York, and another company, East West Players in LA, along with Enact Arts in San Francisco, all Asian American theater companies, and we decided to do something that was different and embrace the time and use theater and short film and just play with form. And so this is kind of what came out of it. I don't want to go too much into it. It's weird. It's got some laughs, it's got some lows, but I hope it connects with all of you in some way. And for me, it's a love letter to Chicago and my family. So hope you enjoy it.